I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Frazier. Yes, we've been dealing with some downright cold temperatures the last day or so. And well, it kind of started yesterday a little bit. It's going once again for tonight. So I'm going to give you a little bit more in depth than what I normally do in the shows, but we're going to be using the same style of graphics, just go into more detail. Right now in Midland at the International Airport, 29 degrees. And well, we already know that that's cold, but then you throw in the wind chill. It doesn't help that the wind right now is kind of coming in from the northeast. Now, that's the direction that the front itself moved through, but when you have that northerly wind, it tends to be very dry air, but also very cold air. That's why wind chill values are down almost 10 degrees compared to what, our normal air temperatures are like. Yeah, clear skies. We did see a little bit of cloud cover trying to move its way in from the south, or from the north, excuse me, but most of that is going to avoid us. During the overnight hours, hey, we do see a bit of that cloud cover beginning to build, but we're not seeing any kind of wintry precipitation, which is actually quite good news. Yeah, I like to play some fluffy snow as much as the next person, but let's think about the localized impacts of if we start to see snow, sleet, freezing rain. Yeah, I thought the same thing too. Across much of the Permian Basin, almost everyone is down below the freezing point. Carlsbad down to 30, Wink down to 32. You can see the corresponding wind chills with that little kind of purplish pink color right next to it. South of Interstate 20, that's where you start to see a little bit warmer temperatures in a few isolated regions. Pecos at 33, same for Fort Stockton. Closer to the border, this is about 7 o'clock at night, of course, if you guys are watching the stream a little bit later. Down a little bit closer to those upper 30s, lower 40s down near the border. Radar, notice how there's nothing for us. Yeah, it's because the way the cold front moved in, it looks more like kind of like a U, kind of a, I can't really do that too well. There you go, more of like a U. And we are on this side of that U. Yeah, I'm used to a green screen, not the camera. So, yeah, in between, you have this big cool down. You can already see areas that are getting a lot of that snow are going to be more of central, north, and east Texas. And yeah, maybe a lot of this stuff you're seeing right now is not actually stuff hitting the ground, but it's certainly big enough. All right, couple places of interest. Notice much of Dallas and Fort Worth. Fort Worth actually looking to see at least a little bit of that snowfall. Really surprising there. Going out toward Tyler, Texas and Winnsboro, they're starting to see a little bit of that light snowfall as well. Zooming out, going farther south, we're looking at Lufkin, maybe even seeing some stuff. And yes, north of Houston. Houston is seeing snow and we're not. But here's the thing. We got even colder temperatures than much of the state. So that's why you're kind of seeing almost that barrier right around San Antonio where that mixed precipitation is. Yeah, the fact that they're getting snow and we're not. You can kind of see the direction of the front itself kind of just avoiding much of West Texas, but then going to the rest of the state. So let's kind of put this back together into more of a, before we actually zoom in, let's zoom back out. Notice. All right, you got a lot of that pink. Winter storm warning. Well, considering they're seeing temperatures and even snowfall, kind of makes sense for that winter storm warning. All this white, what is this white? So National Weather Service, basically after last year, they decided to change up the way they do their warning system. You used to have kind of like a cold weather advisory, like an extreme cold advisory, and then we also had the extreme wind chill advisory. They just combined the two of them. So now both the warnings, so the cold weather advisory, it's looking at either temperature or wind chill or both. So you just managed to combine the warnings, not making them any separate. Basically, the reason they're doing this is they want to simplify everything. They want to say, hey, look, it's cold outside. Easy enough. So, hey, look, it's cold outside. Everyone under that white is going to be under that cold weather advisory. Essentially, what does it mean? It means we're looking at actual low temperatures in the teens, wind chills down to single digits, even getting down close to 0. That bright blue that you're actually seeing out near Alpine, out near Carlsbad, much of New Mexico, even just north of Lubbock, out toward Amarillo, that bright blue is extreme cold watch. That means wind chill values are down into the negatives. So Yeah, we are looking at some extreme cold across the region. It's not just us, it's the whole state, it's all surrounding areas. Everyone is getting affected by this large-scale Arctic front. We're just not seeing the precipitation chances like we did the last time. All right, overnight tonight, down into the teens. I mentioned that already. 14 for Odessa and Midland, 13 for Big Spring. Hobbs, yeah, farther north you go, colder it gets, down to 7 degrees. Then I put together the wind chill. Wind chill, this is going to be at about 8 a.m. It tends to be one of the cooler times, between 7 to 8 o'clock. It's going to really vary. Some places a little bit colder than others. Really just depends on how strong the wind is at the time on top of the air temperature. Typically, coldest time of the day happens a little bit after sunrise. So yeah, once the sun has risen, we start to warm back up. Problem is, a lot of us are typically awake before the sun is up. We tend to get ready to go to school, go to work. When you throw in wind chill values like this, you can get frostbite if you are not properly protected. Make sure. Human body loses heat the fastest through the extremities. So your hands, your head, and your feet. So make sure all of those are covered up. Gloves, hat, and good boots, if not heavy shoes or thick wool socks. Wool socks do absolute wonders in cold weather. So just make sure you're dressed for success. I know, I don't like that saying either, but you know what? This is going to be quite nice. If you actually dress properly, we are going to be good to go, because it's not just the morning that's cold. Yes, 14 degrees heading out the door with the wind. Not most ideal situation, but you go into the afternoon, better. But you're probably not going to be taking off a ton of layers throughout the day, just because we're still going to be lingering around that freezing point. My main concern with temperatures being this cold for this long tends to be those localized impacts. Great example, some businesses, even apartment complexes, they might run their sprinklers. It's set on automatically. That's fine, I'm lazy too. I like to have things done automatically. When they're still running and it's 14 degrees outside, it becomes a general hazard at that point. So make sure you're staying alert, watching out for anything. Now, we're not looking at winter precipitation. You shouldn't have any trouble on the roads. But again, could be some sprinklers running nearby. All of a sudden you hit a slick spot and you weren't ready for it. Just make sure you guys are taking it nice and easy out on the roads. Biggest impacts. So clearly we got through today. We still got to get through tonight, so January 20th to the 22nd. Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning is going to be when we see some of that coldest temperatures, lows in the teens and 20s, single-digit wind chills, some wind chills, especially in those bright blue areas out in our western high elevations. They are going to get down into those negatives. Protect the 4 Ps, people, pets, pipes, and plants. And of course, keep up with us for the latest forecast. I have also posted a quick little reel on my Facebook page. Go ahead and give me a follow there. I try to post as many updates as I can, especially some of that long form content that just might not be available on air. Especially a busy day like today where we had the inauguration taking place, so we lost a couple of our shows. So, of course, I'm always here. You can go ahead and check out some of the stuff I post. Future track shows a lot of that snowfall still staying outside of our region. Again, good best case scenario. That strong wind still kind of lingering around. Maybe a flurry is going to try to spawn its way in. It's not going to have any big impacts. Going into Tuesday, all of a sudden the winds shift back to a southerly flow. You guys already know what that means. Much warmer air. So we warm back up. Great. I'm a big fan of warmer temperatures, especially when, well, it's just, in general, I don't like the big temperature variations. Let's put it that way. I don't mind a nice cool night, but when we're down into the teens, yeah, my electric bill doesn't like me either. All right, we get past this. Let's look maybe a week out or so. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This is from the 26th to the 30th, so basically the end of the month. How are we rounding out the month of January? Well, slightly below average for much of West Texas. Just slightly. That gray is going to be average temperatures. Going into more of that brown and into the reds, those are above average. So average for us tends to be about 33 in the morning, and then in the afternoon, about 58. All right. It's not too bad. So we're getting back onto a nice, normal, steady pattern. So let's hear the next 7 days. 35 for tomorrow for your high. Going into the overnight hours, Tuesday night, so basically Wednesday morning, 23. All right, it's better than 14 or 13. We'll take it. We'll take it. We warm back up into the 50s on Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine, southerly winds. Great. Small front moves in by Thursday. Drops us down a little bit, but not much. Warms back up by Friday and Saturday. And then another small little system coming through Sunday, Monday. Drops us down slightly. We can deal with small, steady drops. It's these large drops that often make a lot of us sick, too, on top of everything. Last thing we want is for anyone to get sick, but when you have big temperature variations, constant winds changing, and then you get the dust storms early in the year like we saw on Friday, yeah, maybe not the best for your health. So, of course, just make sure that you guys are staying well prepared for this, dressing warmly if you're going outdoors for any extended length of time, or if not, just staying indoors. We're going to keep you updated with any kind of localized impacts that we might see as a result of it. Best way to do so is to download News West 9 app, available on the App Store as well as Google Play. We'll be sending out push alerts throughout the entirety of any kind of stuff going on, especially now we got President Trump back in the White House. A lot of stuff with Inauguration Day. We're going to be sending out alerts associated with that as well. But of course, I also post daily on there for weather. My weather article too goes a little bit more in depth than what I can normally say on air. So go ahead and download that, get our push notifications, and we hope that you guys are staying safe out there.